Personal resilience as a way of being exists in many forms. Sometimes it can be like this ball in that when I squeeze it, it bounces back, exhibiting a form of resilience. Other times, it's a bit more like this tomato. And I promise I'm not going to squeeze it now, but if I did, it's easily squashed and messy. And it doesn't tend to regain its shape. Which do you think is more resilient? Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters and guests, have you ever felt like you were falling down and flattened by life events, but that somehow you got back up again? That is resilience. And these setbacks, they change us, but our pain bears fruit and it's of value to ourselves and to others. Today, I'm going to share with you 3 stories that exemplify resilience. 78-year-old President Joe Biden endured much loss in his life, with the tragic death of his first wife and infant daughter in 1972, and the death of his son Beau in 2015. It was a long road for him to becoming President of the United States earlier this year. His good friend, Barack Obama, described his resilience as born of too much struggle. His empathy, born of too much grief. That empathy, that decency, that belief that every person counts. That's who Joe Biden is. And I think you'll agree that it's a perfect example of resilience. Moving now to my second example. Anyone here ever run a marathon? Anybody here who's like me struggle to motivate yourself to get up and go out for a walk every day, even though you're in perfect health? Belfast-born Mark Pollock would love that opportunity to go for a walk, rain, hail, or snow. Mark endured life-changing injuries of total blindness and later paralysis. Unbroken by his injuries, Mark never lost the vision to inspire and motivate others to become resilient. And Mark believes that we can all chart a path towards a better future. It's just a matter of time and conscious effort. Another great example of resilience. My third and final example is personified in a beautiful little 5-year-old girl called Abby, whom I had the privilege of meeting and nursing in 2015. At that time, Abby had just been diagnosed with the incredibly rare Batten's disease, which affects only a handful of children in this country. It results in the loss of all senses except hearing. As Abby's condition deteriorated, her balance was affected, and she'd stand up, she'd wobble, she'd fall, and she'd get back up again, dust herself off, smile, and try again. I nursed Abby at a time in my own life that I was experiencing a lot of stress. And honestly, every time I looked at that little girl, I got the determination and the willpower to keep going. In December 2016, sadly, little Abby grew her angel wings. But her determination and her resilience have left a mark on the many lives that she has touched during her short life, including mine. Today, I introduced you to Joe Biden and Mark Pollock, both great examples of resilience. And of course, the beautiful Abby, with the utter determination to keep going, no matter what obstacles life threw in her path. Finally, returning to my opening analogy of the ball and the tomato. Imagine if I buried the two of these in my garden and I came back a year later. What do you think I might find? Well, I'll probably find a rather weather-beaten ball that has lost a lot of its bounce. But we'll also discover new plants like this, bearing ripe tomatoes, ready to be picked. Fellow Toastmasters, where resilience is followed by new growth, that is resilience. Psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl once said, "Everything can be taken from a man, except for one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in a given set of circumstances, to choose one's way." Fellow Toastmasters, we too can choose our attitude. We can choose to be squashed of opportunity, like this weather-beaten ball, or we can choose to see our adversity as an opportunity for growth, like this tomato. Well, I'm going with the tomato. Which one will you choose, Mr. Contest Chair?